I watched Awake in the Woods, a found footage movie found for free on Tubi. And Awake in the Woods is a movie that starts with them interviewing this woman who's supposed to be in prison, I think, or maybe I think it's a mental hospital. I think she's supposed to be in a mental hospital. But she tries to seduce this person who's interviewing her and immediately whips her tits out. Which is never worth it in a found footage movie, especially a really low budget found footage movie like this one. But man, she was confident. I'll give her that. She was insanely confident. This guy is interviewing her about the people that she killed and something about a lady in the woods. And the lady that he's interviewing talks about how this woman in the woods told her to cut out and eat the heart of some people. Which, I mean, she's tiny, so that's kind of funny. Don't think she could manage that, but alright. Spooky ghost stuff, right? Talks to the doctor. The doctor is like, well, we don't know what's wrong with her, but she did rip someone's heart out, so she's clearly not right. And then she proceeds to give the diagnosis of this patient, which I don't know about other countries, but in America, that is super illegal. You can't just tell people what someone's diagnosis code is. We have laws against that. Clearly, the people who made this movie didn't know that. So that makes it extra funny because she's dressed up in a white coat. Like she's supposed to be a doctor. And here she is just dropping CPT codes. Then we switch to this lady who's filming herself. And she's filming herself sleeping because she said she keeps hearing screams at night. So we go the whole night. We don't really see anything. But at the end of the night, oh my gosh, at the end of the night, she wakes up in the morning and she stretches, and then all of a sudden there's a thunk. And it looks like someone threw like a pound of chicken at her window. I think it's probably supposed to be like people meat or something, but it looks like someone just took some chicken breasts and whomp out her window, and she screams the most unconvincing scream I've ever heard. Her name is Ronnie, and she begins filming with her friends because they want to find out what's going on in the woods. They live in this place in New York where apparently there's some creepy woods, and there's a lot of legends about something in the woods. It's never really clear what. A girl went missing there recently, a young girl, and so they decide that they're going to go camping in the woods to try to figure out what happened and what's going on in the forest. And so she does with her friends. And they bring a tent, which I don't know where they must be camping close to their car because they're not carrying backpacks with them. It's not like a Blair Witch thing. They're just there. Suddenly there's a tent. But as they're wandering through the woods, right? They're wandering through the woods and they find, you know how people will mark up trees with like Jason plus Andrea forever, that kind of stuff? They find a tree that's marked up like that. And they're like, whoa, that's creepy. Whoa, who would do that in the middle of nowhere? Guys, it's a tree in the middle of the woods. Of course that's gonna happen. But try to make it scary. They clearly aren't very good at manufacturing scares in this movie. They tried to make that a scare and like a spooky thing. No, man. I mean, I feel bad for the tree, but it looks like it's a dead tree anyway, so whatever. Oh, the audio balancing in this movie is atrocious. There are points where characters start screaming for somebody, and it blows the mic out. And they use that to try to jump scare you. But it didn't really work. It's annoying. It's annoying. Ronnie sees the girl who's been missing, and her friends don't believe her. And so she freaks out. She freaks out a lot. Like, people talk about Heather and the Blair Witch Project being annoying. No. This girl This girl is annoying. She freaks out constantly. And her friends are just like, oh yeah, she's got crazy. None of them are good actors. They're all terrible actors. And I feel bad ripping on it because it feels like this was a group of college kids that decided they wanted to make a movie, maybe for school. But they failed kind of spectacularly. Essentially, they bumble around in the woods for the rest of the movie, occasionally hearing spooky things at night like feet in the woods, like rustling leaves and stuff, because I think it's fall time. Yeah, like that's it. The missing girl eventually shows back up. Ronnie hits her over the head with a lead pipe. I don't know where she got the pipe, but she hits her over the head with a pipe, and then she hits her with a pipe and then kills and eats the heart of her friends, and that's the movie. Sure wasn't scary at all. This was one of the really bad found footage movies that I seem to be running into. I go in streaks on Tubi. Sometimes I will get lots of really good movies in a row. Opposite this time, opposite. I'm getting a lot of bad ones. Awake in the Woods was a 0.5 out of 5. I really can't give it. I would give it 0 if I could, but I'm trying not to give movies 0 because, like I said, at least they made a movie. They did something, right? So, I mean, I haven't made a movie. They have. It might be awful, but they went through with it. So, 0.5 out of 5. I would say don't bother wasting your time. Definitely not worth it. Unless you want to see the lady who whips her boobs out. She's pretty cute. I'll give her that. She's cute. Covered in tattoos and cute. So if you want to see that, you might want to watch like the first 4 minutes. But there's other places to see that kind of stuff that won't bore you to death.